I'd like to welcome you all to the Decade of Migration Conference hosted by the Centre on Migration Policy and Society, COMPAS. It's to celebrate the 10th birthday of COMPAS.
At ESRC, we're very, very proud of this investment.
We have attendees over these next 2 days from universities and institutions across the UK and indeed across the world, indicating, I think, quite clearly both the extent of the engagement on the subject of migration, but also the geographical impact of the practical issue.
We hope, therefore, that there will be a sense of provocation in the next couple of days. We hope that people find the time both interesting in thinking about some old challenges and new.
We have had quite a long history of scholarship, research, political and policy discussion about not just questions about migration, but a kind of wider kind of context in which the kind of political and social interest in this area was formed around certain kind of questions.
There are massive inequalities in the forms of movement. Mobility, he says, climbs to the rank of the uppermost among coveted values. The freedom to move, or of course the freedom not to move in cases, is a scarce and unequally distributed commodity.
I work for a kind of think tank of the government, and one of the issues there is how does labour migration combine with the welfare state, because that is an issue that is very much on the minds of both academia but also on the political arena.
I want to talk about citizenship, resurgence or rescue, and I want to kind of end by encouraging people to think about whether actually citizenship is worth rescuing, whether we need to think beyond citizenship.
I think there's much scope for setting analysis of international migration alongside analysis of social movements and global protest and the demography of a global cohort of educated and underemployed 20 to 30-year-olds and so on, all set within analysis of the shifts underway in global power structures.
And the Migration Observatory has done a lot of work on how migrants are defined in public opinion.
I think that this migrant care issue raises an even bigger question. I would argue that what's happening now constitutes a global care crisis, and that it's similar to the environmental crisis in that what is being jeopardised is human sustainability and solidarity.
What is the work that the new and the state-funded spaces of memory do around photographic traces of state violence?
That spirit of a combination of public engagement and academic research hopefully captures the ethos as much as the substance of the research at COMPAS over the last decade.
I find we're still struggling with the big questions we were struggling with some years ago, and I'm very grateful we can come to a conference like this and begin to make progress. It's very slow, much slower than we thought it would be, but we're getting there.
The conference has been really extremely stimulating and really gives a sense of the richness of the kind of research that is done at COMPAS. You can see how there has been a move over these 10 years towards exploring in new areas, and how the researchers and people around COMPAS have always been trying to be thought-provoking and also raise new challenges and see how migration is related to so many other things. And the kind of issues covered in the conference really capture this diversity of thinking in COMPAS.
I think potentially the one key dimension that I will take away is the importance of discussing migration issues from interdisciplinary starting point, that we really need to talk together from different disciplines to come to better solutions and come to better answers to the questions we're asking.